everyone. This is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. This is the final lesson in the Jazz mini-series, and in this lesson we're going to concentrate on playing the rhythm part. If you haven't done so already, go to ActiveMelody.com and download the tablature and jam track so that you can play along. And also make sure to check out the first two parts where I break down the whole jazz solo part as well. So let's take a look. Alright, so let's break down this jazz rhythm part. Now, the first thing that I should point out before we start looking at the left hand is what the right hand is doing. The right hand has a strum pattern which is down, 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 up, down. And I use that over and over again. So it's down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. I'm doing that through the whole song. It's just very laid back, very casual. It almost sounds effortless. So you're going to want to practice getting that strum pattern down before you even start bothering with your left hand, because obviously you're creating the rhythm by doing that. And it's a pretty commonly played jazz rhythm, something like that. I am using the pick as well, so just wanted to point that out. It's about that. That's actually a little faster than the tempo of the song. But okay, so this first chord we're going to learn is a G major 7th. Now, here's what it's going to sound like. Okay, and to make the G major 7th, we're going to start with our middle finger and put that down on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. Then I'm going to take my pinky and put it down on the 4th fret, 3rd string. Okay, and then I'm going to take my ring finger and put it down on the 4th fret, 4th string, so that I have those three on the fretboard. Notice my pointer finger still hasn't gone down yet. It's going to go down on the 3rd fret, 6th string, so that I play that low G note. Now, you'll notice that I didn't talk about two strings. I didn't talk about the 5th string, and I didn't talk about the 1st string. The reason we're not going to talk about the 1st string is we're not even going to play that one, so that one's pretty easy. We're also not going to play the 5th string, but you're probably wondering, well, how are we going to strum and not play that 5th string? Well, this is where you use a muting technique. It's very common in jazz chords, in which I take my pointer finger, and when I'm pushing down on that 6th string, 3rd fret, I'm actually slightly letting my pointer finger touch the 5th string, just enough to mute it. Hear that? So if I were to strum down and pick apart each note, this is what it's going to sound like. So you can hear it's muting that string, and that's again, that's something you're going to have to just practice a little bit. It's actually not that difficult. Just make sure when you push down your pointer finger that finger is also making contact with the 5th string, just enough. You're not pushing it down, you're just touching it enough to mute it. And that allows you to get that sound, that nice G major 7th sound. Now the other thing to point out is, if you'll notice, for some of you, when you're trying this, it's going to sound like this. You're probably thinking, well, what's the difference? How come his sounds, like this and mine doesn't? Well, the difference is when I'm playing those notes, I'm releasing the tension with my left hand. So I'm going release, release, hold it down, and then do that again. Release, release. When I say release, I'm taking the pressure that I'm putting to make that chord, and I'm releasing it, keeping my fingers in place, but they're just sitting on the string, so they're muting them. So it takes it from this sound to this sound. And that's how you create that on-off thing. That's a very commonly used technique when you're playing any kind of rhythm guitar, is to know how to control when to put the pressure on and when to let it off. Okay, so that's the first chord. It's a G major 7th. The second chord is A flat diminished 7th. Sounds fancy, but you're going to see that my fingers, when they moved from one position to the other, so there's the G major 7th, they didn't move that much. In fact, only two of them moved. The pointer finger and the ring finger are the two that move. The pinky and the middle finger stay in place. They do not move. So what you're going to want to practice is you're going to want to leave these two, leave the middle finger, leave the pinky, lift the pointer finger and ring finger, and switch positions so that you're creating this chord. So again, this chord is an A flat diminished seventh, and here's what's happening. The ring finger is going to the 4th fret, 6th string to play that note, and then the pointer finger is going down on the 3rd fret, 4th string to play that note. But you're still muting that 5th string. The way that you're muting it this time, however, is with your ring finger. So since your ring finger is kind of laying across it, it's just going to slightly touch it so that it mutes it. And that's what your chord sounds like. Again, you're only playing strings 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. You're not playing the first string. So the first chord, to back up, sounds like this. The G major 7th sounds like this. The A flat diminished 7th sounds like this. And together, playing them up to, with the strumming pattern, sounds like this. Okay? Now the next thing that happens is we play an A minor 7th. And for the A minor 7th, everything happens here on the 5th fret, which is nice. So the first thing that I do is I bar the first 4 strings with my ring finger. And then all I have to do is take my, and by the way, this is the last chord that you're going to learn in this whole song where you're muting a string. Again, you're muting the 5th string. But I'm going to take my pointer finger and I'm going to reach across. Now this is how I do it. There may be an easier way for you to do this. I've seen this done many ways. But I'm going to reach across with my pointer finger and play the 5th fret, 6th string to play that A note. And while my pointer finger reaches across, it's going to mute the 5th string. So the only strings we're going to play are strings 6, there's the muted 5, 4, 3, and 2. So the chord sounds like this. Again, you're not playing that first string. So it sounds like that. Okay, so that's the A minor 7th. Now, to back it up again, we have very nice sound already. Now, from here, what we're going to play is we're going to play a D 7th. And this is pretty standard D 7th. I use this all the time, especially in blues. And for the D 7th, I'm here on the, well, we'll start with the ring finger. The ring finger goes down on the 5th fret, 5th string. Middle finger goes down on the 4th fret, 4th string. Pinky goes down on the 5th fret, 3rd string. So you have this little box. And then your pointer finger goes down on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. And you're only strumming those middle 4 strings. So strings 5, 4, 3, and 2. Just like that. And what's nice about this chord, this D, this 7th chord, making a 7th chord this way, is you can play a 7th chord anywhere up and down the neck. So if that's a D 7th, that's an E 7th. So here's an E 7th down here. See? Just a different way to make that 7th chord, but it's really nice when you're doing something where you have to control when it starts and when it stops, versus if you played a D 7th down here, like you would maybe know it in first position. It's just, it rings out too much, So that's why we're playing these jazz chords higher on the neck, and to be honest, that's why usually you don't hear a lot of jazz chords played down in the first position, because there needs to be that control as to when to start the sound and when to stop the sound. And when you're barring or fretting or playing up higher in the neck, you have more control that way. Okay? So, after the A minor 7th, we come to the D 7th. Now we go back to the A minor 7th for 1, and then back to the D 7th. And then we're going to play just a G, a G major chord. Now the way that I'm playing it there is it's the exact same shape. If you learned how to play an F down in the first position, an F chord, that the dreaded F chord that everyone hates to play because you're barring these first two strings, it's that same shape, but I'm just playing it up 2 frets. That gives me a G. Now you could play a G like this, but the problem is there's too many strings that are ringing out, so that does not sound jazzy. Hear the difference? So that's how I make a G chord there. Now you could just do a bar. You could complete it and play just do a full bar there on the 3rd fret and complete the chord. I usually don't play those low end notes. I let the bass handle that. So I tend to just take the shortcuts, and that's how I play a G chord. And so that's how I've tabbed it out on this one. And to explain what that is, for those of you that don't know, I'm just barring fret 3, strings 1 and 2 with my pointer finger. Then on the 4th fret, 3rd string, come down here and play with my middle finger. Then on the 5th fret, 4th string, I play with my pinky. And then on the 5th fret, 5th string, I play with my ring finger to get that sound. So there's your G major. Okay, so then we're going to play the G major. Then I go to a G7th. Alright, so then we follow up the G chord with a G7th chord, which sounds like this. And for the G7th chord, what I'm doing is I'm just doing a bar, barring all 6 strings on the 3rd fret. I'm taking my pinky and I'm playing on the 6th fret, 2nd string. My middle finger comes down on the 4th fret, 3rd string. And my ring finger comes down on the 5th fret, 5th string. And I'm playing, really, you can play all 6 strings if you want. But that's the sound. It's a G7th played that way, with a bar. Okay, so let me back up and let's cover our bases so far. So here's what we have. We'll start here with a G major 7th. Okay, now the next chord is a C major 7th, and it's going to sound like this. And to make that chord, we're going to take our pinky and put it down on the 5th fret, 2nd string. We're going to take our middle finger, put it down on the 4th fret, 3rd string. Sorry, middle finger, 4th fret, 3rd string. Ring finger on the 5th fret, 4th string. Wow, that's a mouthful. And then my pointer finger goes down on the 3rd fret, 5th string, so that we have, and we're only playing the middle 4 strings, so strings 5, 4, 3, and 2. And that's the sound you should get. That's a C major 7th. Okay, and then after the C major 7th, we do a C minor 7th. And for that, it's just a bar again on the 3rd fret, barring all 6 strings. This time I'm using my middle finger and pushing down on the 4th fret, 2nd string, and I'm putting my ring finger down on the 5th fret, 4th string. And I'm playing the top 5 strings to get that sound. That's a C minor 7th. So the C major goes like this. C minor 7th. Hear the difference? Major, minor. Then we go back to that G. Okay, and then I go to an E7th. And the way that I played it was like this. By the way, that's the exact same shape as the D7th I just showed you. So You take that shape and then you move it up 2 frets to get the E7th. You could always play it down in the first position too. But I wouldn't do that just because of the fact that you have more control of it up here. And it keeps everything sort of in one place too. It's easier to get to. Then after the E7th, we go to an A minor. And the way I'm playing the A minor there, I'm sure a lot of you know how to play the A minor in the first position, but you just basically, I'm just barring the top 3 strings here on the 5th fret. And then I'm taking my middle finger, or I'm sorry, my pinky, and pushing it down on the 7th fret, 4th string. And my ring finger goes down on the 7th fret, 5th string. And I'm getting that sound. Now you could just do a bar if you wanted to bar the entire 5th fret. Play all 6 strings, you could do it that way. For me, it's just faster and easier to play it like this. To play the top 5 strings, I'm skipping that low 6th string. Then we're going to come back to the D7th, then back to the G, then back to the D7th. And that just sets us back to start the whole thing over again. And that's it. Those are all the chords used in that. And you'll see that that strum pattern is the same throughout the whole thing. Down, 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 up, down. Let me go ahead and play through the whole thing for you without any kind of accompanying music, just so you can have it as a reference. So here we go. There you have it. There is the jazz rhythm. That's just a little rhythm part that I made up. It's not really based on any particular song, but I was just kind of having some fun with jazz chords the other day, and I thought that kind of would lend itself to a nice lesson. So hopefully you're able to play a lot of those chords. If any of those that are giving you challenges where you're muting strings, just keep practicing them. You'll be able to do that. I had a hard time with those in the beginning as well, but if you just sit down on the couch and put on a movie or whatever and just keep practicing those chords, eventually your muscle memory will kick in and you'll be able to do them. Well, that's all I have for this jazz mini-series. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel on YouTube. You can do that by clicking on the subscribe link on this page. Also, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/activemelody and on Twitter at twitter.com/activemelody. Hope to stay in touch with you, and we'll see you in the next lesson.